All right, this is going to be a short video. Uh, I told you my videos are all about what I've learned, and I pass it on to you because I've gone and looked at other people's videos, and they stroke the radio. They maybe point out one or two features, but basically they don't go deep into the radio like I do. And there's things I don't know. I admit it, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. Now, remember, this is the VFO unit, which Collins calls a PTO because it's tuned with a ferrite material, a piston, in and out of a coil. Now, one guy says that this unit does not have that system. While I've seen other pictures, it sure looks like to me there is a coil in the unit, and it's a 10-turn coil. It's not a 10-turn capacitor. So I'm suspecting that person is wrong. But what I wanted to tell you about was under this is where the tube is. This unit doesn't seem to have a heater. Now, there are ovens in different oscillators to keep the temperature stable. Now, this unit seems to just use the heat of the tube. Now, what is this thing? It looks like a spark plug. It looks like it's made out of glass. When you look through the glass, you swear you see Mount Rushmore. It looks like it unscrews like a spark plug. And I looked everywhere for this thing. And I was going to email a guy, and I said to myself, go look at the schematic for the PTO. Now, this unit is the old square unit. It's a 70E-7A. And that comes on a Collins 51J-1, and that's the model that the big mouths say don't exist. I've showed you the back of this. It says it is a 51J-1, and there are websites that actually show there is a 51J-1 model. The one guy says, the dash ones aren't labeled at all. Yes, they are. You're wrong. And this spark plug unit had me going crazy because, I've been in electronics my whole life. And whenever I see something I don't know what it is, I immediately ask somebody, but there's nobody to ask. And I understand what it does. And let me just drop off a minute real quick because I'm thinking about this now. There's a plate on the top of this unit. I don't know if you can see it in the frame. It's got 3 screws on it. When you undo the 3 screws, it's a hatchway, and there's an adjustment for a capacitor down in there. That's the only adjustment that's on it, and that's the alignment for the PTO. And on the back of this, it's a 3-sided plate. It's got 3 screws. It's got a rubber gasket on it. And after you tune, put that back on. And now we're back to this. What is this? And I thought to myself, maybe it's got a bimetal switch in there, and it turns something on and off, and it regulates the temperature. I figured maybe some type of glow tube that regulates the voltage to the unit besides the one that's also on chassis, but it's not. What do you hear what this is? Inside of this is desiccant gel, and desiccant gel, there's pieces in it. That's why when you look in there, it looks like Mount Rushmore. And what that desiccant does is it soaks up the moisture. So any moisture that gets in this unit, when they assemble it, gets pulled out by desiccant. And they put it on the outside, I'm guessing, so it could be changed. I don't know. The information on this really old Collins, the 51J-1, the model that doesn't exist, there's very little information about it. I got some homeless people walking up and down the street out here. Oh boy. Well, anyway, it's filled with desiccant gel. And that hatchway, if you take it off, you're going to see a nut. It's a 1/4-inch nut. You just loosen it a little bit, and that'll let you turn this screw that's in the middle of it, and you can adjust the frequency in there. And don't work on this unit unless you have a good frequency counter. So you are able to move the frequency. So you could use like WWV if you don't have a frequency counter. But you better know what you're doing. But that's where the adjustment is on the real old ones. The new PTOs, they have an adjustment tool that comes clipped on the back of the chassis or on the back of the cover, which I don't have. And even if I had the cover, it wouldn't have the clip with the tools in it because this is a different model. But as much as I hate this unit, I do work on it a little bit each day. I sent away for the long Bristol, six-sided Bristol. It's called a .06 six-sided Bristol, and it's I think it was Exolite makes it yet, and that's the size Bristol that allows you to move the kilohertz dial. I'll show you that in the next video, but I'm trying to show you things that other people don't show you. They skirt right over it, you know. They either didn't get into it or they didn't question anything. I question everything. When I don't know something, I go looking. And that's what I find the fun part, is trying to guess what that thing was. And if you hadn't put money down, I would have said it's some type of bimetal switch in there that regulates the temperature. That's what I would have thought. And the next guess would be a glow tube. I would have never guessed that it has desiccant gel in there, or desiccant, probably papers or something. And a quick story about desiccant gel. One of the kids in the neighborhood, he was quite stupid. Everybody used to say to me, "Why do you hang around him? He's really stupid." Well, anyway, he bought a telescope, and in the package was a square piece of desiccant gel, and he asked me what that was for, and I told him it takes the moisture out of the telescope. So when you put the telescope away in the box, it keeps the telescope from rusting. That's not what he wanted it to be. He was a cuckoo clock. His mother used to scream at spirits. It was a real the kid was stupid, but in a really annoying way. Well, he would every time he used the telescope, he'd take the desiccant gel out and rub it around on the lens. So one day I went over there and he's got the telescope on. I said, the lens is all scratched up. I said, "You're still rubbing the desiccant gel on that lens?" And he just looked at me like I'm stupid. I told him the desiccant gel exactly what it did. I think most people have an idea when they open a gift up and it's got a little square packet of desiccant gel. It's not used to clean the lens of the telescope. Oh man, what he did to that telescope. But those are the people I sort of hung around when I was younger, and I didn't realize as you mature and get older, you have to dump your old friends in order to move on, because they're not moving on, they're slowing you down. But that's the story I just want to tell you. Desiccant gel, we had it in the aircraft industry. We had this little round disc thing, and this guy next to me, he'd put it in an oven and heat the thing up with a vacuum pump in the chamber. And he had, when he was ready to seal the unit, it was be an aircraft instrument in the cockpit. He put this round piece of desiccant gel in there, bolted in, and then the unit would get closed up, and the back of the unit would be sealed, which would look like the aluminum foil you peel off one of them juice cans, V8 can. You know, it's got that piece of like it looks like the air conditioning tape, aluminum tape, and that would seal the unit. And then as the desiccant gel would sit in that unit, it would pull in all the moisture that might be in that unit. Because when an aircraft cockpit instrument goes from high altitude, low altitude, back and forth, there is a bit of a moisture problem. And that's all units that I worked on were sealed. Sometimes they were solder sealed. Those were the real pain in the asses. But just the quick desiccant gel story, and that's what I call desiccant gel, because that's what it says on the little packet. But it's some type of, inside the package, it's little white beads, clear beads. It's not used for cleaning the lens on a telescope. I think that's it. All right, that's it.